pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pag-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayun din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9 ng umaga hanggang 7 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gap where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Good afternoon to all the school leaders, stakeholders, parents, teachers, and especially to our grade 5 mathematics learners. Kamusta po kayo? I hope that you are doing great as you are watching or listening into our new episode of the ETUlay Math 5 at the comfort of your homes. We are grateful na kahit sa mga lugar ninyo ay mayroon ng mga face-to-face classes, ay narito pa rin kayo at sinusuportahan nyo pa rin po kami at dito sa DepEd na isulong ang edukasyon kahit pa sa panahon ng pandemya. And ako po si Tutor Ram ng SDO Isabela at sa ngayon ako po muna ang inyong makakasama dahil si Tutor Joshua po ay may mga prior commitments. Tutor Joshua, we miss you po sa ating live session. Sana sa ating last week, sa week 8 next week ay makakasama po namin kayo. And so, wag na wag po ninyong kakalimutan, dear learners, ang ating ETUlay and YouTube and Facebook page and channels. I-like and subscribe ang mga ito at huwag nyo rin pong kakaligtaan to share our live session this afternoon to reach out to more learners like you na talaga namang nag-aasam na matuto pa lalo sa mathematics. So, huwag kakalimutang mag-share into your social media accounts or sa inyong mga school and classroom group chats. And so, for for Mathematics 5, Quarter 4, Week 7, we are about to discuss experimental probability. Okay? So, dito iikot ang ating discussion this afternoon. We would like to thank the development team consisting of the writer, editors, reviewers, illustrator, layout artists, and the management team of DepEd Regional Office 8, Candahog, Palo, Leyte, for the provision of this material serving as our reference for today's discussion. And our MELC or most essential learning competencies kung saan dito nakapalibot ang ating discussion. Una na dyan is to describe experimental probability, and the second one is to perform an experimental probability and records the results by listing. So I do hope na take note niyan, na screenshot nyo yan, you do have mental notes about these MELCs dahil dito iikot ang discussion natin. And to give due recognition to our dear teachers and learners na patuloy pong sumusuporta sa ating live sessions, even kahit pa nga sa replay ay meron pa ring nanunood, is binibigyan natin sila ng Matinic Tuties or Tutie of the Week Award and the Matibay Teacher of the Week Award, na kung saan sila po yung ating mga teachers and students or learners na talaga namang very active sa ating comment section as to how they participate in our live sessions. Gayon na rin yung pagpo-post ng kanilang mga output sa ating official Facebook group, at talaga namang nakakatuwa at nakakataba ng puso because of the positive responses. At unahin na nga nating bigyan ng Matinic Tuties of the Week. Please receive our virtual badge, Martin Angel Dave and Preza of Gamu Central School, SDO Isabela, at ang ating suking-suki na si Shania Beniz de Jesus ng Tinaod Central School, SDO Bulacan. Sige, dagdagan pa natin ang ating mga awardees for this week. We have Arkin Stephen B. Faustino of Tinaod Central School, SDO Bulacan din, and we also have Aubrey Madison S. Pascual. At also, ina-awardan din natin si Stephen Carl B. Riola ng West Central School, SDO Pangasinan. To all the learners who received or who are awarded this week, congratulations, and may you inspire others to do the same. And also, hindi natin kakaligtaan ang ating mga matibay teachers of the week. Suking-suking nga, sabi ko kanina, we have Ma'am Blessy Valdez and Ma'am Genter, both of Pinaod Central School. Congratulations being awarded as the Matibay Teachers of the Week. And we also have Sir Van Aldrich B. Rosal of West Central School, SDO Pangasinan. Nakikita ko lagi mga comments ni Sir Se. At ni Ma'am Joanne Caroline U. Calderon ng Damangis Elementary School, SDO Isabela. Congratulations po sa inyong lahat. At naway, mas ma-encourage pa natin yung ating mga learners na makiparticipate lalo sa ating session this afternoon. Congratulations po sa inyo. So last week, umpisa na natin yung discussion by reviewing our session last week. Remember that when we collect data coming from a phenomenon or a situation from places, kahit sa tao or animals, we can gather data. Okay? So, paano natin ipine-present itong mga datang ito? There are few reminders, sabi nga natin. The first one is to collect them in a logical and orderly manner so that we can classify them based on their characteristics or importance or categories. And orderly kasi kailangan nating maipresent sila into a systematic and orderly manner para hindi magkaroon ng confusion sa ating mga consumers or yung ating mga readers kapag nagpe-present tayo ng data. We also have data is observable and measurable. We do label them by the use of words or phrases, and measurable because we do present sometimes this data into numerical values. Na nakikita nyo sa ating screen, yung heat index natin is presented into numbers. Also, we will give opportunity for the readers to analyze the given data by giving insights or predictions of what might will happen in the next. Okay, so yan yung mga reminders natin. Also, we were able to present this data in the tabular and graph mode, di ba? Or graph method. Katulad nga nitong nasa left side, we presented the data using table na kung saan yung column is for the days of the week and the heat index is for the second column. And we transcribed it, we translated it using graphic organizer at ito nga yung graph. We have used the line graph to show, okay, pag ginamit natin ng line graph, to show changes over time. At nakita naman natin dito that the first column is for the x-axis and the y-axis is for the heat index. And we also labeled that simply as the daily heat index in Tanay, Rizal. So I do hope na intindihan ninyo yung ating session last week. So, there are some instances kasi, dear learners, na kung saan, okay, yung sa heat index, sa news na hindi natin masabi kung gaano kalakas or gaano kainit yung magiging sikat ng araw or gaano kalakas or kahina yung buhos ng ulan if there is sa araw na yon or even for the week. And for this week, ipapasok natin yung konseptong yon which is probability. We might don't know what will happen for the next few days or coming days of the week, and we are not sure. We cannot give the exact value or measurement of the possibilities. And so, ipapasok na natin ngayong linggo yung ating probability. So, bago ko umpisahan yung ating session, tignan nga natin kung sino ang ating makakasama sa discussion this afternoon. Sila Faye Paula Perin Calixterio of Patulo Elementary School, Marilao, Bulacan. Magandang hapon po. We also have Stephen Carl Riola. Magandang hapon. Arkin Stephen, magandang hapon din sa inyo. Okay, good afternoon, Tutoram and grade 5 learners from Ma'am Blessy. Congratulations po pala kanina, Ma'am Sir Arkin. Daniel Brent San Diego of Pinaod Central School. Talagang suking-suki natin sila. We also have Aaron Gelo Patricia, okay, or Patrica, Aubrey Madison, Faye Paula, Chazel Table Kalangan, Gaspar Soriano, si Giancarlo Kaampued of the Mangis Elementary. Magandang hapon po sa inyo. At sa mga hindi pa po natin nabanggit, if we do have enough time later on, we will recognize your shout-outs or pagbatis or greetings, di ba? So, hindi tayo sure, sabi natin kanina, kung gaano kalakas or gaano kahina yung buhos ng ulan or yung tirik ng araw. And that's the role of probability. We can make an accurate assumption or estimate of this phenomena by using probability. So, we need to unlock these terms in order for us to fully understand what I am trying to say. Sa unang-una na dyan yung experiment. Ano ba ang tinatawag nating experiment? An activity that can be replicated which leads to results. So that's a phenomenon in which you are asked to have results or outcomes based on that activity or phenomena. The second one is outcome. Ano naman ang ibig sabihin ng outcome? These are possible results. Take note of the phrase possible result to that given experiment. So yung mga lumalabas na resulta based on that experiment is what we call outcome. We also have sample space if we are able to enumerate all the possible outcomes and putting that into a set, wherein sabi natin pag set, di ba, it is a collection or group of objects, things, or phenomena that has a common characteristic. So pag ginawa natin siyang as a set, that is the sample space. And we have event, it is a subset of the sample space. Okay, so isa siyang subset or isa siyang set mula sa sample space because a sample space is bigger than the event in which we usually get favorable outcomes. So if you do have confusions about these terms, let's put that into a real life context para mas maintindihan natin sila. So let's answer these questions. How many possible outcomes are there in tossing a coin? So sabi natin kanina, may experiment. Sabi natin kanina, we do have an outcome, sample space, and the event. So para masagot natin itong tanong na ito na how many possible outcomes are there in tossing a coin, ano ba ang hinasabing experiment? It is the phenomenon. Ano yung ginawa natin doon sa coin? We tossed it. Okay? To get possible outcomes which is head and tail. So pag nag-toss ka, that's the experiment. At kapag nakapag-identify tayo ng possible results, and in this case, alam naman natin na dalawa ang pwedeng lumabas na outcomes sa coin. Pwedeng tao, which is head, or ibon, which is tail. So, ilagay lang natin ito using a set or in a set, okay? Ang sample space natin is a set of or set containing the elements head and tail, or pwede nating isimbol yan for easier access later on when we do have our solutions or computations. So yung head ay pwede nating gawing H and tail pwede natin siyang gawing T. Now, napaka-consistent ng outcome and sample space. Outcomes, we have listed two. Sample space, there are two elements. In this case, pwede nating sagutin ngayon ang tanong na how many possible outcomes are there in tossing a coin is 2. So sana naintindihan ninyo yung ating example. So, okay. Naintindihan ba, dear learners, ang ating example number 1? Martin Angel Dave Preza, magandang hapon. Lian Galang, magandang hapon din sa iyo. Angel Julian Nolnado, na-miss kita, Angel. Na-miss namin si Angel dito sa ETUlay Math 5. Okay, so according to Shania and Irlon, naintindihan daw po nila. So let's proceed with our next example. How many possible outcomes are there? So ang hinihingi ulit is possible outcomes of rolling a regular 6-faced die. And considering that this die is fair. Kasi ginagamit po ng other references yung term na fair. Kasi daw meron daw yung dice na marang mabigat sa isang side. So for our example, we will assume that the die is fair. Okay? So ngayon, para masagot natin kung ilan yan, we need to identify what is the experiment here. So ano nga ang experiment dito? Tignan nga natin. Oh, may sagot na sila. Shania answered 6. Aisha and Arkin 6. Sophia, okay. Aisha 6. Okay, sige. Mga sagot nila ay 6. Pero alamin muna natin kung ano ang experiment dito. The experiment is rolling a 6-faced die. So yun yung gagawin natin. Experiment is yung gagawin na a phenomenon or activity. And that is the experiment. So ano gagawin natin sa die? We are rolling that. And ilang face yung meron yung die natin? It's 6. So now, if we are trying to roll or perform this experiment, we will have these possible outcomes. Pwedeng lumabas yung face na 1 or yung 1 dot, yung 2 dots, 3 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots, and 6 dots. So, ilan lahat yung outcomes? we have listed 6. And putting that into a set para maging sample space, lalagyan lang natin siya ng itong symbol, grouping symbol na ito. Okay? At makakabuo na tayo ng sample space out of the listed possible outcomes or results. So therefore, kung set itong sample space, ang cardinality niya or ilan ang laman ng group na yan, so we have 6. Ilan ba yung nailista nating outcomes? 6 din. So therefore, outcome and sample space is consistent. Pwede nating sagutin na ang tanong na ilan ang possible outcomes? The answer is 6. So, naintindihan ba natin, dear learners, ang ating example number 2? Okay, comment naman tayo, thumbs up tayo pag naintindihan natin. Sige. Oh, they are still answering 6. And you are all correct. Shania said, opo. Aubrey, yes, naintindihan din. Janiel, naintindihan din. Okay, very good, dear learners. Nakakasunod talaga kayo sa ating discussion this afternoon. So now, sa mga ibinigay nating examples kanina, many events can't be predicted with total certainty. Sabi ko nga kanina, hindi natin ma-predict yung buhos ng ulan, kung uulan ba bukas or hindi. Ganon din kung gaano kainit dahil sa sikat ng araw. We cannot say the exact measurement or values of these things, but we can make an accurate estimation of this, and that is probability, sabi ko na kanina. The best we can say is how likely they are going to happen, and the use of probability as the mathematics of chance is an essential tool for us in order to present accurate estimations of this phenomenon. Now, it can be written as a ratio, okay? Yung may tuldok na ganon, na dalawa, colon, as they say, fraction, so my numerator and my denominator, and even decimals. Why? Because ratio, fraction, decimals, and even in other references, include na natin yung percentage, are relatively the same. So pwede natin i-convert yung fraction into decimal, and then yung decimal convert natin into percent, and then yung percent pwede natin i-convert into fraction. So these terms are synonymously the same, or relatively the same. And take note, if you are going to compute probabilities, its values can only range. Take note of that, only. Hindi tayo pwedeng lumagpas from 0 to 1, or kapag co-convert natin yung 1 into percentage, that is 100%. So take note of that. Probability has only the specific value range of 0 to 1. So pwedeng mag-0, yes. Pwedeng mag-1, yes. And pwede ring the values in between the two. So paano natin makukuha ang probability? So the probability of an event, sabi nga natin kanina, event is a subset of the sample space na kung saan mas specific yung hinihingi dito. And we can compute that using the formula number of favorable outcomes all over the total number of possible outcomes. Now, we also have to mention experimental probability, which is our topic for today. It is the ratio of the number of outcomes in a specified event to the total number of trials made in an experiment. Okay? So that is computed using the formula number of favorable outcomes over total number of trials. Okay, so malalaman natin yan mamaya. Ang hinihingi lang is specified event. Take note of that term. So kung ano lang yung hinihinging event, ang tawag doon is experimental probability. And by using this formula ay makukuha natin yan. But if it is replicated several times, the experimental probability will get closer to the theoretical probability. Ang isinasabing theoretical probability, dear learners, ay yung what is likely to happen. Just like in tossing a coin, 50-50 ang chance or 0.5 and 0.5 because there are two possibilities only, and if you are going to tell the theoretical probabilities of the two, which is the head will appear or the tail will appear, that is 50-50 or 0.5. So it is what is likely to happen. And that is computed by the formula number of favorable outcomes all over the number of trials. So if you are a little bit confused, don't worry, dear learners. We'll get that into context. Magbibigay tayo ng examples. So ito na nga. The example is, you ask your three friends, Dore and me, to toss a fair coin 15 times each in a row. And the outcome of this experiment is given as below. Calculate the probability of occurrence of heads and tails. So, analyze muna natin yung problem, routine and non-routinary. Ano ba yung mga given? 15 times daw na si Dore and me will toss, okay, a coin. And that is the experiment already. So, ano ang hinihingi? The probability of occurrence of heads and tails. So, this is the table na na-list natin. So, Do, in her or his 15 attempts, nakakuha siya ng 6 heads and 9 tails. Re has 7 heads and 8 tails with a sum of 15 trials or attempts. And me, we have 8 heads and 7 tails. So ngayon, dear learners, if you are asked to find for the experimental probability of the heads and tails that will appear as they toss a coin, gamitin natin itong formula. So for the heads, number of times head occurs over number of times coin is tossed. And for the tails, the number of times tail occurs all over the number of times coin is tossed. So, gawin natin ganito. So, I have presented here a table para mas specific nating maipakita sa inyo, dear learners, kung paano natin mako-compute ang experimental probability ng mga friend nating si Dore and me as they do the experiment. So, si Do, we have 6. So, sa kanyang attempt ay we have 6. So, sabi nga, heads is ilang beses lumabas over ilan yung attempts. So, in short, we have 6 over 15. Okay? 6 over 15 kasi 6 ang heads niya sa kanyang 15 attempts. So, that can be represented as a fraction of 6 over 15. But if you are asked to simplify it, magiging 2 over 5 because the common factor is 3. So, divide it to the numerator and denominator to make it 2 over 5. And if you are asked to convert it into decimals, just divide 2 and 5 and you will have 0.4. Ngayon, para naman makompute yung tails, ilan yung lumabas over ilan yung attempts. Since identified naman na natin kay Do na 9 ang tail at 15 ang attempts, so that would be 9 over 15 or simplify that with 3 as a greatest common factor, kaya magiging 3/5. Or to convert that into decimal, divide 3 with 5 to have 0.6. Mapapansin ninyo na sabi natin sa definition kanina, the values of the probability is ranging only from 0 or to 0 to 1 or from 0 to 1. So if you are going to add 0.4 and 0.6, the probability is 1. So therefore, correct yung ating solution. Why? Because we were able to satisfy the condition of the probability. Okay? So, tingnan natin kung magagawa natin yan kay Re at kay Mi. So, kay Re, it has 7 heads out of 15 attempts. So, that is 7 over 15 or approximately equal to 0.47. Okay? So, nasusundan ba, dear learners? Yes, 6 over 15 daw yung computation kanina. Okay. Nasusundan naman nila. Yes, 7 over 15. Very good. Sige, tuloy natin. And we have 8 tails and all over 15 attempts kasi nga 'di ba bawat taong involved dito or one of our friends is only given 15 trials or attempts. So nakawalo siya doon or which is approximately equal to 0.53. And add the two, 0.47 and 0.53 will give you 1.00. So check na naman ulit tayo. We have satisfied the condition that the value of the probability should range only from 0 to 1. And next, 8 ang kay Mi in terms of heads, all over 15 attempts. So that is 0.53 and tail with 7 over 15 and therefore we have 0.47. So since nakabaliktad lang yung values ni Re at Mi, we can say that 0.53 and 0.47 will give us a sum of 1.00 which will also satisfy the condition of the definition of probability. So I do hope na sundan nyo itong ating example. Okay, sige. But take note also that the theoretical probability of head is 0.5 and the theoretical probability of tail is 0.5. Bakit? Nasabi ko kanina, di ba, na dalawa lang naman ang pwedeng lumabas sa coin. It's either head and it's either tail. So kung 1 ang maximum number of probability or value of the probability at dalawa lang yon, so 1 divided by 2 is 1/2 or 0.5. So as you can see, kung kukunin natin yung number of heads ni Dore at Mi, makakakuha tayo ng 25 all over 45. 45 saan nakuha yon? That is the number of trials. So 15 attempts kay Do, 15 attempts kay Re, and 15 attempts kay Mi. So you will have 45. You divide that, mapapansin ninyong approximately equal siya sa 0.47 which is near nasa ating theoretical probability na 0.5. The same is true pagdating naman sa head, okay? 9, 8, and 7 in terms of the outcomes Dore and Mi acquired, that is 9, 8, and 7, which is 24 over 45. Bakit 45 ulit po? Because they have 15 attempts each. So 15 plus 15 and plus 15 to make it 45. So 24 divided by 45, we have approximate value of 0.53, which is malapit ulit sa ating theoretical probability. In short, mapapansin ninyo na habang mas dumadami ang attempts or trials na ginagawa natin, mas nare-reach natin yung theoretical probability value. Okay, ulitin natin. The more attempts or trials we conduct or we do perform, mas napapalapit tayo sa value ng theoretical probability. So, dito nga, ang theoretical probability is 0.5, malapit sa 0.47, which is our experimental probability for the head, and 0.53 naman sa tail, which is malapit na rin sa 0.5. So, I do hope nagkaroon ka ng mental note on that observation at maging klaro sa inyo ang pagkakaiba ng experimental and theoretical. Okay. Pag experimental, yung specific lang. Okay? Kapag theoretical, yun yung what is likely to happen. So, sir, paano naman kapag dice? Okay? So in short, kukumputin nyo lang yan. Pag experimental at ang hinihingi sa inyo is 2 will appear. So isa lang naman ang 2 sa 1 to 6. So 1/6, yun ang experimental. Pero kapag hinihingi yung theoretical ay 1/6 pa rin. Diba? So magiging equal sila dahil yung experimental, isa lang naman ang 2 doon. And yung theoretical, each number has equal chances. So sa 1, may 1/6 siya. Sa 2, sa 1/6. Sa 3, 1/6. Paano sir pag hinihingi is even? So kung even, we have 2/6. That is 3/6, which is 1/2. And ang magiging theoretical is 1/6. Okay, sige, tuloy tayo. Klaro po ba itong ating discussion this afternoon? Kasi malapit na tayong matapos. So, tignan nga natin. Okay, tama yung mga inyong sagot. Okay, so for our additional activities, paki-screenshot na po ito, dear learners. Okay? Basahin natin ang inyong magiging output na ipopost ninyo sa inyong social media accounts or paki-post naman ito sa ating Facebook group. Okay? The following table shows the recording of the outcomes on throwing a six-sided die 100 times. So take note, 100 times yung hinihinging, okay, attempts or given attempts, I should say. And you are asked to find the experimental probabilities of the following. A, rolling a 4. So, lalabas yung 4 doon sa dice. B, rolling a number less than 4. Okay. And C, rolling a 2 or 5. So, let us see paano ninyo masasagutan yan on your outputs. So take note of the frequencies. Frequency is the number of appearances or trials na lumabas yung 1. So we have 14. 18 times naman lumabas yung 2. 24 times lumabas yung 3. 17 times lumabas yung 4. 13 times lumabas yung 5. 14 times lumabas and ang 6. So that makes it 100 trials or times. So mag-screenshot na po tayo. Yes po, mabilis ating topic ngayon dahil we are only on the definition and simple listing of activities or experimental probability. So I do hope na na-screenshot nyo na ito at naunawaan po ninyo ang ating session this afternoon. So may part 2 pa ito sa ating discussion next week at inaasahan po ang lahat na naway makasama pa rin po namin kayo dahil yun na po ang ating recognition week for quarter 4 recognition week, I should say. So lahat sana ay makasama po namin sa event na iyon and we do hope your positive responses about this request. So, na-describe naman natin ng klarong-klaro ang experimental probability and we do have performed experimental probability and records result by listing. Check na check tayo dyan lahat. So, saglit man ang ating pagsasama this afternoon, I do hope you have learned something about our topic. And for more questions and suggestions, or for your reflections and outputs, ay pakipost ito sa ating Facebook group using the hashtag Batang ETUlay Matinik or use our official hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Magkita-kita muli tayo next week sa parehas na oras 3:40 to 4:20 p.m. ETUlay Mat 5 with yours truly, Tutor Ram ng SDO Isabela, kasama si Tutor Joshua ng SDO Manila. And for your comments, suggestions, and recommendations to improve our delivery of the content, ay paki-scan itong QR code or type naman natin itong link sa ating mga internet browsers. Comment lang tayo, mag-suggest lang tayo para mas ma-improve pa natin yung ating mga susunod pang sessions. Or pwede rin nyo rin naman kaming email sa edtech@deped.gov.ph for your questions, suggestions, and recommendations. So next week, which is part 2, kaya nga sabi ko saglit lang po tayo this week dahil may part 2 pa yung ating session. So magsasaglit lang tayo next week and we will have our quarterly recognition. So, ang topic natin for week 8 is problems involving experimental probability. Kaya naman, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsama sa amin po this afternoon with our director, Sir Prince, Tutor Prince. Maraming salamat po at magkita-kita ulit po tayo next week. Maraming salamat, dear teachers and learners. Paalam!
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!